It's certainly not an exact science, but what you try to do is you try to judge, you try to gauge industry trends, how much work is coming up. Of course, there's a certain attrition number of people who are retiring, and what the need is going to be, because we have a responsibility. Every local union has a responsibility to provide their contractors with a proper workforce. Local 40 is structural ironwork local. They've recently had a recruitment as well, and I don't know their numbers, so I can't speak to their exact numbers, but I know that they had, you know, a considerable turnout for opportunities there as well. I think the more difficult economic factors become, just the greater the response is going to be, because it just seems that so many companies, so many corporations have begun to engage in this race to the bottom with salaries and wages, that people who have to work for a living, I mean really work for a living, see the value of being a union member in ways that they probably haven't seen since the Depression. There is no doubt that the informal grapevine is you know, very rapid means of communication. But in all fairness, the very same day that the letter went out to the membership to tell the membership that there would be applications given out, the information was posted on the Department of Labor website, so that anybody who was seriously seeking a job would know that that was the date. And there is word of mouth that there were people on that line who were on the line who didn't have family members who were members of the local who had been on the line last time. So, you know, community groups tell one another, and did family members tell their people, go there? Yeah, but it was also very common knowledge. We went out of our way to make sure that the knowledge was very public. The drawings are at random, as you say, and the testing is extensive, but not what I would call grueling. The Department of Labor monitors it. There is a a written exam, which is usually deals with like mechanical aptitude, spatial relations, that type of thing. There's a manual dexterity test, and then you're rated not so much by your exact number, but like first tier, second tier, you know, top tier, middle tier, lower tier. There is a personal interview, because I think that's an important aspect of it, because how you present yourself is important in any organization. And there's drug testing. So if you're talking about what should any prospective applicant be concerned about or very much aware of, is the drug usage is very much frowned upon in the industry. It's something, and it's not even so much a moral issue as it is in our industry. We don't really have room for people who are not in their right consciousness. I mean, the old stereotype of people walking around with a beer can on the job, I mean, that's long gone. And we can't afford to have that. It's just not safe, and we're not going to have our people get hurt. So alcohol and other mood-altering chemicals have no place in the construction industry. It's a different scenario than people have in their mind. So I would be very concerned about that, because there's no second shot at the drug test. If you fail the drug test, you're out. That list stays active for 2 years. So even if you're not in the first 50 people who get chosen, even if you're not in the first 50 people that get chosen, if 6 or 8 or 9 months from now the need arises for another 50 people, then you're still active. And if a year after that the same thing is true, then you're still active. That list remains active for 2 years before it's exhausted. That list is a 2-year list. So if there are more applicants needed the next year, they'll also be drawn from that list. One list we had, I don't remember exactly what year it was. I remember we wound up, and I'm not saying necessarily that that's what will happen this time, but I do remember taking 150 people from one of the application drives we had recently. That's totally a function of supply and demand. If 3 months from now you have a hiring wall full of people sitting on the bench with nowhere to go, then you're not going to take people in. If 6 months from now you have 17 contractors ringing the phone off the wall looking for people that you don't have, well then obviously you're going to take some more people in.